Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the gentlelady for yielding. You know, I rise in opposition to the rule. In a nutshell, I think we'd be much better served, and ultimately the public would have been much better served with an open rule. I have an amendment that under an open rule I would have proposed, and it simply says this, that while all this is very interesting, talking about credit card debt and those protections, and you can have a conversation about that, the elephant in the room is this idea of national debt. And my amendment would have simply said that income tax return forms would have been amended to have 4 lines on them as follows. Number 1, the taxpayers' dependent shares of the national debt, the taxpayer family's share of the national debt, how much each individual share of the national debt increased in the last year, and how much adjusted gross income would be required to meet the burden of that share in the national debt. Because here's where we are right now. This Congress and this administration has doubled the national debt in 5 years and will triple the national debt in 10 years. Why does that matter? That matters because what we are experiencing, a feeling in this country that one generation is not passing on a legacy of prosperity to the next generation. In other words, one generation is actually stealing from the next generation. Why? Because of a lack of a discipline that comes from this chamber. A lack of a discipline that says we're going to spend our way into prosperity. And what Americans understand, Mr. Speaker, is you cannot borrow and spend your way into prosperity. The idea that we're going to incur more and more and more debt, whether it's on a stimulus that is underperformed, whether it's on a bloated budget, whether it's on a health care bill that takes people's breath away, it is so costly. I think by and large Americans have said enough is enough. And so towards that end, I rise in opposition to the rule. I think the rule is tone deaf and it doesn't offer a larger conversation on debt. With that, I yield back.